welcome to your December tarot reading. It's Allie, your friendly mystic. If you're new or old here, it's wonderful to have you. It's great to be able to share energy and space with you. I am so blessed to be able to do this, so thank you so much for being here. Now, if you are new or if you are familiar with my tarot readings, you're familiar with tarot readings on YouTube in general, you can probably skip to this timestamp here to get right into the reading. Otherwise, if you are new and you'd like some information about how to interpret readings as a viewer, just a couple things to keep in mind, I will go over that now. So this reading is for Leo's Sun, Moon, and Rising, and any other particularly important Leo placements you might have. So that's going to depend on your chart. That's going to depend on your knowledge of astrology. So if you're really green to that or you don't have a lot of knowledge of that, I would stick to the Sun, Moon, and Rising. And I intend to create some video around how to pick other planets, but that's for when that comes. My readings are timeless, so I don't intend for these videos to be timely for the month they're posted in. It's not necessarily about the month it's posted in. It could be. I know that, because of the way the algorithm works, it is more likely to find people when it's new. At least that's my understanding of it. So if you find this a year from now, months from now, you're just going through videos and you see the title of this and it's resonating with you, that means it's for you more likely than not. I don't put a timestamp on these specifically for that reason, because these videos stay up here forever essentially. Well, our understanding of forever. Oh, excuse me. There's really no reason for me to put some artificial time block on it. I just don't think it works that way. So there's that. My readings are also very general, so I can't possibly read for every single Leo placement at once. It's just not something I can do. And I can't read for anybody who doesn't resonate with me. So I think it would be very difficult. It can be very difficult for people to receive messages from people that aren't vibrating at the same frequency that they are. So I'm basically reading for the Leo placements that resonate with me and need the message. So if you resonate with me as a reader, but this message wasn't for you, then this is not, you don't need this message, essentially. You don't need this message from me specifically. So if I'm not the reader for you right now, then I implore you to find all of the other wonderful YouTube tarot readers that are out there. A few that come to mind are Water Baby Tarot, Queen Cup Tarot. Apparently I like very water heavy readers. I think they're both Scorpios. Which is funny because I'm a Gemini, but that's beside the point. Anyway, one last thing. I do want to talk about the use of the words feminine and masculine. I use those words to describe energy. I don't use those words to describe genitalia or gender identity or gender presentation. If I'm saying somebody is a feminine energy in a spread, if I'm saying they're a masculine energy in the spread, I'm not talking about them being a man or a woman. I'm talking about what energy they are exhibiting specifically in the situation. Because we all possess feminine and masculine energy. Different situations, different circumstances call for different energy. So if you're getting into a fight with somebody, it's not necessarily going to be the most beneficial for you to try to be nice sometimes. You have to get into a place where you can defend yourself and harness the energy, which, a fighting energy is more masculine. Or if you are trying to reconcile with a partner, you hurt their feelings, it's better to be soft, it's better to be in a position to receive, to hear, to comfort, which is more feminine. Those are two pretty stark examples, but feminine and masculine energy can present themselves in all kinds of ways. So I might point to the gender of somebody in a spread, but that detail doesn't necessarily mean that part is all for you. I also saw 444 on on the timestamp of my recording, so that's funny. That might be for you. I know 444 is for me right now. Very important number that I keep saying over and over. So, where was I? So yeah, don't get caught up on the gender of somebody. If the person in your situation, or if your person is fitting that description, like, it's that person, regardless if I'm describing them as a man or a woman or using the words feminine or masculine. So, with that out of the way, I think it's time to get into the reading. So, I like to pull a major arcana card to encapsulate the reading, to describe the energy around it, and to describe potentially any life lessons that are happening in regards to the situation. So, I like to use my personally made tarot deck. I'm sure you can recognize some of these. So these are all collaged by me. This was a project, took me way too long, but I finally finished it, and I felt like I wanted to integrate it into my reading, so this is the way that it felt best. So let's get right into it, Leo. Source, spirit guides, benevolent ancestors, guardian angels, please help me to connect the collective of Leo and communicate the messages in their highest good for those that need it. Source, spirit guides, benevolent ancestors, guardian angels, please help me to connect the collective of Leo and communicate the messages in their highest good for those that need it. Source, spirit guides, guardian angels, benevolent ancestors, please help me to connect with the collective of Leo and communicate the messages in their highest good for those that need it. Source, spirit guides, benevolent ancestors, please help me to connect with the collective of Leo and communicate the messages in their highest good for those that need it. Empress. In reverse. Are we not feeling very abundant? Not feeling very generous either because of that. This could also indicate overspending. This might be a little bit touchy for you, Leo, but I know Leos like to spend money, generally. Or Leo likes to spend money. Leo likes nice things, right? So this does kind of feel like a mismanagement of resources, a mismanagement of your abundance, or even like a sense of greed, potentially for you. This could be about not wanting to give. Could be about what's the word? Feeling. I'm getting the sense of like it never being enough, like this insatiable hunger. Like, because you like nice things and you like to satiate your desires and spend money, it doesn't ever feel like you have enough because you always want more. So, some imbalance around abundance. But something is mismanaged in regards to your physicality. This could also be mistreatment of the body, mistreatment of the vessel that carries you, not feeding it nourishing foods, or not nourishing. That's another thing, just not feeling nourished, and a lack of nourishment. Oof, Leo. It's not a fun energy. So learning to, I think, inhabit a more healthy aspect of the Empress is going to be paramount to your reading. In regards to however that lack or that mismanagement might be happening. So you could actually be in a lack, lacking things you might need. But the mindset that keeps you there only makes it worse, right? Excuse me. So, woof. Okay. Well, let's get into your main spread, Leo, and figure out what this is all about. Alright, Leo, so I have your decks picked out. So for the main spread, I'm going to be using the Gaian Tarot. This is a deck I really love. And then for the advice, I use oracles at the end. And I am using the Kuan Yin Oracle. I'll go through some of these just so you kind of get a feel for it. This is a lovely deck. So it has these images on the top, and then on the backs it has messages to read. So I'll be pulling this for advice, and we'll start with the Gaian. If I can shuffle it. What messages do you have for Leo? 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 This deck is so big I can't shuffle it like my other decks generally. It's so big! There we go. Really feeling out of alignment. Immediately with a 9 of Fire in reverse. I think there's a lot going on around you, a lot that you're trying to balance and feel centered in, and you might not be feeling so successful at that right now. So wow. I feel resistance to an awakening. Not wanting to see the truth around something. This could be, you could be going like through an ascension process at the moment and kind of kicking and screaming the whole way at this very moment. There could also just be a realization that you are really resisting. I see that with the Sun in reverse and the Awakening in reverse, because you just don't want to see it. You're not balanced enough to really receive it yet, like that message. So, interesting. I want to read the companion book for this. I might do that in a little bit. I tend not to do that with tarot, but that one is asking for it. So, I might. I will, if it's asking. But let's pull some more cards. Now, the sun really feels like it illuminates truth here, and the awakening being that truth. So we're kind of just, it seems like a intentional neglect, or an intentional, like, putting your head in the sand kind of feeling and ignoring what's happening. Because whatever it is that it's asking you to do or confront, you are... I'm getting fear from that. Like, I just don't want to confront that. I don't want to do that. I'm not ready for that. Or I already did that. Why do I have to go back? That's interesting. I already did that. I don't want to go back. Something might have been left behind. Let's see. Could also be, you could also read this as being out of alignment with a soul purpose because you're not listening to a message or an awakening, or you are ignoring the awakening that you're going through right now. Which is interesting. Okay, for there. I do apologize if the shuffling is loud. I do try to be gentle with it, so. It's scoochy. Let's see what we got. An Ace of Earth in reverse, Explorer of Air upright, Ace of Water in reverse, and the Teacher in reverse. You're getting really heady about it. I mean, we basically have... Now we have all of the elements present evenly, which is interesting. Um, it seems like the thing that you have a lot of experience in and are actively seeking is something intellectual, something cerebral, if like that's what you kind of seem to gravitate towards, but you're kind of unwilling to examine um, the earth and the water element, or even get started on it, or really like get it in its essence. And in some ways, I feel as though you kind of only want to engage with them on the intellectual level. You only want to intellectualize to really understand. You want to talk about it. You don't want to live it, but you kind of need to. You don't want to actually touch the earth. You want to read about the earth. You don't actually want to feel the way your emotions or understand the element of water. You want to read about how to process emotions instead of actually doing the processing. Um, I'm seeing that there needs to be some sort of like guide that needs to come through for you. Um, and the reason you kind of maybe lost on this is because maybe you think you're your own best teacher and maybe you're not. I don't know. You could also be dealing with the people you're learning from aren't really going to teach you any better, or the learning you've received so far was only cerebral. It's not going to give you these two. And right now, Leo, I feel like fire comes pretty naturally to you. That's why the 9 of fire came up first. And then after that, you kind of just went into the next masculine element, which is air. And kind of, there is a sense of like not really being in touch with the feminine aspect of yourself. Which is, yeah, that's just kind of like considering that the most developed cards here are the 9 and the Explorer of Air. Um, these kind of indicate what you're engaged with, and then these two, the Ace and the Water, coming up in reverse, really feels like you haven't even turned that stone over. Just unusual. I would suggest that you find a teacher of some kind. It's funny because today I've been working out and doing weight-free training, and really seeing some interesting, like, well, some pretty big gains and some progression. I swear this is going somewhere. I've been seeing a lot of progression, and I would not have done that if I didn't have a coach. Because right now I have a trainer. I have somebody who is watching me do what I'm doing and is there with me on my journey. And I think I think this is also very much the explorer of air, or any explorer type who wants to go and be independent, who wants to be on their own. And this feels like either it's the absence of a good teacher, and it just kind of made me realize like, oh, and he said to me, my trainer said to me like, no good athlete, no professional athlete does this on their own. A bad coach is better than no coach, which was pretty enlightening for me. It's like, oh, there's a reason why people have a hard time training and like sticking with something. Is because they don't have guidance, and it does take two sometimes, but you resist wanting to ask for help. You're like, well, I understand, I've read about it, I intellectually get it, but I don't think you can intellectually understand. You can have an intellectual understanding of the water element and the earth element, but they resist. They resist their full. They resist giving you their full knowledge and the full breadth of their experience, unless you actually get your hands dirty, or wade in your own waters. Get familiar with it. I do sense that there's a level, especially with the 9 of fire reverse and then the Ace of Earth here reverse as well, is it just very ungrounded, especially with the Explorer of Air up off the ground. Again, just lots of not groundedness. And I feel that getting grounded, and especially if you have someone help you get grounded, a teacher, that's just coming through really strong. needing a teacher, needing some sort of guide. The teacher in this deck is the equivalent to the Hierophant in traditional Rider-Waite, but this is just somebody who's going to give you the knowledge they have. And that's going to be huge for you. That's going to really help you get in touch with these other elements that you're not willing to explore, and also kind of balance the fire that you already are, and get into better alignment with yourself. Get past resistance. You may also have some, I mean, honestly, it's not a hard thing to say, but most of us are walking around with wounded chakras. Not sure what chakra that might be for you, but it could be worth investigating in some chakra healing, Reiki, energy work with somebody else. They can all do that at a distance if you're still watching this during the pandemic. So I know for me that my solar plexus and my what's the word? And my oh my gosh, sacral chakra are both fairly wounded, along with my throat chakra. So I have a hard time with receptivity. I have a hard time with nurturing. I have a hard time with connecting with my own emotions, and then I have a hard time actually speaking what it is that I'm thinking or feeling at any given point in time. So you can imagine how hard it would be to that might be. So you might want to look in, do some evaluation, and see if there's anything in particular that is ailing you, and help, and then learn how to balance the energy. What else? What else? What else? What else? What else? Seven of Fire and the Moon in reverse. Interesting. Seven of Fire. This Seven of Fire really gives me Eight of Pentacles kind of vibes, like the very, and also kind of a Temperance too, just the working with fire, the molten metal, heating the element, pounding it into place, and then cooling it, heating it, pounding it, and cooling it, you know. And the Moon. I do think that this is calling for intentional work on the feminine principle, because the feminine is definitely the thing that you are neglecting. And we have the Sun and the Moon in reverse, which is kind of like a true pair for me. Like, there's no truer pair than the Sun and the Moon. This is really learning. Yeah, I mean, I was bringing up my issues with receptivity. But it feels like this is, I think this is true for anybody. If you are not balanced in one principle, then you will be unbalanced in the polar opposite, because it means you have an overabundance or an unhealthy expression of the other element. So let's say if I'm having an issue with feminine energy, if I'm having an issue inhabiting my feminine energy, then you can expect that my masculine energy is in overdrive. My masculine energy is out of whack. It's trying to compensate for the fact that I am not in my feminine energy. It's like trying to inhale without exhaling ever. And that's kind of where I'm coming to with the Moon and the Sun in reverse. So there's this need to have like an intentional tempering and focused, deliberate work on the feminine principle, so that your masculine principle can be in check, essentially. And I think that's already very apparent from what we see here with the Nine of Fire and the Explorer of Air being the most developed, versus these two aces here who have not been touched or have been neglected in some way, shape, or form. So I like that. This is good advice. Thanks, Spirit. This could also be about the Seven of Fire can also be about controlling, um, and like pinpointing accuracy. I'm getting this like needing to be very uh directed. I'm not sure if I'm using the right words. I hope you get the point. I'm trying to like describe the energy, but like needing to be very precise in how you're using your fire. Um, it's utilized and made useful and made sorry, I'm getting something else, and just made very like I guess utilized well is what I got, but also a need. Oh gosh, did that message leave? Please say no. Um. Oh yes, there it is. Sorry. Um, the need to use your fire to create massive change in the self. So, and this could all relate to your abundance in the way that you're not. I mean, I was picking up like a lack of nourishment and a lack of care for the self, which is feminine um, in uh, in nature, and I mean that in regards to this um, Empress that we first pulled. So, but yeah, I using your fire to change and to mold, make things malleable that once weren't. You know what I mean? So like metal seems so solid, so stiff, unmoving, unchangeable until we heat it up so much so that it will bend to our will. So there's something about you that feels so set in stone, but until if you get this, if you can get your masculine principle, your fire energy under control, or um uh what's the word? Skillfully used, have a skillfulness around that, um, you will be able to mold yourself and to change yourself into shapes that you did not think were possible. You're seeing yourself as set in stone when in fact you can be molded and changed with deliberate, skillful work. Diligent, skillful work. I love her. I don't know if you can see these, but I love her tats. She's got like oh gosh, what is that? Ty triquetra? I butchered that. I used to know that. And then some runes on her arm. She's cool. I like her. I want to know a lady like her. Let's see. I also see that this could be a teacher figure for you. A teacher that helps you. I feel like if you get balanced and your masculine, it becomes much more easier to access your feminine. Let's see. Any other messages for Leo? Where are we at? Alright, we got like 5 more minutes. We can do 5 more minutes. Any other messages for Leo? We have more messages for Leo. Those. So we have the 2 of water, the 8 of water, the 10 of air, and the 9 of air. Interesting. Just air and water. Ten of air and then 9 of air. Now this air pair, the air pair, is it feels like not wanting to let something go, really needing to grieve something that was once lost, moving on. But you can't move on until you've done the grieving. And I think there's a part of you that kind of resists the grieving. Interesting. This isn't really coming up in any of this. I think the water because you haven't been harnessing the water element, this is what I'm feeling as though is kind of is part of the remedy to this. Or at least the things that could be worked on or done. So if we're in this air element, and this is maybe part of the issue with you being able to access the water and the earth, the feminine elements, is that because you're so in your head about something, about like there's just like melancholy about something that was lost, lots of thoughts um going over in the mind, turning revolutions, just almost obsessive thinking, um but just a deep seated pain from something that was lost. And this water, the water pair, I want to call the water pair, is asking. I feel like you aren't talking to anybody about what happened. You're not like, you're not, well, if you're telling people, you're telling them from this energy. You're telling them the facts of what happened. Like, you could be in therapy, but you're not really letting your therapist know how you feel. You're not giving them an inkling, because the two of water is like this very, it's the reciprocity of emotion. It's the giving and open exchange of the feelings between two people. And because there's kind of this you're in this intellectualizing of what happened, that you're not actually experiencing the hurt in the water and unable to communicate that with another. So this could be going to therapy but not really saying what it is, or if you're communicating it, you're only talking from it. You're dissociated from the way you feel when you talk about it, but there needs to be kind of this pouring, this rush of water. I'm seeing this waterfall in the background here. I'll make sure you see it. There's this waterfall in the background, and I'm just sensing there needs to be this like ultimate release, like a dam just broke, kind of release. And it might feel really, and I think that's part of what you resist so much, Leo, is it feels like if you break that dam, you're gonna flood everything. And that is, that might be true. You might need to flood everything, but I'm sensing that there's a need to wait to move through the water. The eight of water here is this a person swimming through it and actually going through their watery depths and like making motion forward through it. There's really no way through the water other than to swim through it and to really become acquainted with it. So perhaps what happens is that you let those floodgates open, and it will be for your betterment. You let the floodgates open, and then you have to swim through all of it. And there's really no way around that. Want to resolve, if you want to resolve this here, this mourning loss, obsessiveness, can't seem to let it go kind of feeling. Now, I did say I wanted to pull I'm remembering now, so it must be the time, pull the companion book for the Awakening in reverse, and then the Seven of Fire. So I'm going to do that just a second. Okay, so let's start with the Seven of Earth, or the Seven of Fire, I'm sorry. Ah. Okay. It's time for the Seven of Fire. It's time for you to take, well, maybe I'll read all of it. A blacksmith stands at a forge, raising her hammer high to strike the red-hot iron rod. The scent of rain-soaked autumn woods mixes with the pungent aroma of burning coals and hot metal. The smith's heartbeat races as she pounds the glowing iron bar into the shape she desires. It takes much strength and determination to bend iron to your will. The smith wears an amulet in the shape of Thor's hammer around her neck. She draws on the power of the Viking god of thunder as sparks like lightning fly from her hammer. She knows that nothing can keep her from accomplishing her desire. It's time for you to take a risk for personal growth and stand up for your authentic self. Dare to forge ahead. You are learning to trust your own strength and sense of personal power. You are expressing yourself creatively, and of course you must strike while the iron is hot. Don't pass an opportunity when it presents itself, for that's when transformation can occur. So I'm sensing that this is about making the personal growth, taking the risk to make that personal growth, so you can actually come into alignment with your feminine. And then for the Awakening card, where are you? There you are. So I'm gonna read the shadow side of this card. Wait, what? You may be attached to old ways of doing things and are unwilling to hear the call of the spirit. Even when old beliefs are not truly authentic or no longer serve the highest good, it may be difficult to let go, if only because they are so familiar. There could be a resistance to guidance, a need for control, or preferring what is known and comfortable, even if it is founded on negative habit patterns. Remember, as Anais Nin wrote, the day may come when the risk to remain tight in a bud is more painful than the risk it takes to blossom. So, yeah, resisting something from spirit. Pretty clear. Alright, I believe now is definitely the time to pull your oracle cards now. So this is the Kuan Yin Oracle. Kuan Yin is a bodhisattva. She's basically a goddess of like unending compassion and love and tenderness. Very much a sweet mothering energy. Also a youthful maiden energy. She's a lovely bodhisattva. She's come to me many times to comfort me in my deepest, darkest nights of the soul. So let us call on Kuan Yin for guidance here. And I would like to say a couple things before we pull these oracles. Is if you like this reading and you'd like to receive more readings like this, please hit the subscribe button. If you'd like to exchange energy for this reading and claim this reading as your own, please hit the like button. It really helps. I really appreciate it. And if you want to communicate with me, start a dialogue, talk about how this reading was for you, express, how it's manifesting in your life, if you're comfortable doing that, or just any comments, questions, and concerns you might have for me, then please leave a comment. I answer them all currently as I can. And if you're interested in personal reading from me, you vibe with me as a reader, and you like a personal touch, you can go to my website, friendlymystic.com, and that will have all the information you need to get a personal reading. So, all right. Well, one of them's already come out, so let's look at that one. I'll show you the imagery. Beautiful. I love this. I get this sense of weathering the storm, really able to stand firm. It just gives me a sense of what's the word? Resilience? And I love this image because it's so chilling. Her hands are blue, but she holds this, I believe what I see, it looks like a pomegranate, which is this red color. It's very Sagittarian, I would say, like this feeling of just enough warmth to start the fire again. Sagittarius season is upon us. Just that feeling of what's the word? Just being able to rekindle what was there, or nourish yourself to get through the winter kind of thing. Lots of optimism in it, even though it seems very bleak, cold. Let's pull one more. Can you give me another one, please? I think I'm gonna just pull one because, yeah, that one. Oh. Now, I don't read reversals with this deck because I just don't think that's the intention of the deck. But I love this card. It's just very playful. The yak, like, kind of almost swaying and dancing, and her being completely at peace with it. Kind of just riding the wave, allowing what is to be, I suppose. Let's read these and get into it. Alright, I'm gonna hold this up, so if you'd like to read it, you can. Pause the video and do that. But I'm gonna read now. Keeping it simple. May your mind may convince you that manifesting your destiny is more difficult or complex than it needs to be, yet the guidance of the Divine Mother is to keep things simple. do what you can do, let go of everything else. Yeah. I feel like you're resisting what the spirit is telling you to go for, and because you don't want to like jump into a new paradigm, you think it's going to be too difficult, it's going to be too hard. Um but really just take it one step at a time. And then this one, whoa, there goes the card. Okay, I'll hold it up for you so you can pause it and read at your leisure. And then I will read. Uniquely you, the more we are willing to become authentic rather than conventional, the more we will need to eschew conditioning in favor of aliveness. Be willing to run the risk of being authentic so that you can live from your heart and experience real joy. I'm feeling like this is the need to be authentically in your feminine, the need to be authentically express your emotion, and willing to get past the conditioning that feels so comfortable that you're resisting, because that feels so comfortable and makes you resist or causes resistance to the awakening from spirit. So I think that's everything, Leo. I hope this was helpful for you. I'm gonna put these here. Look at that. That's nice. I hope it was helpful. If there's anything, if you, I don't know. I want there to, if there's anything I could do, I hope that this reading was helpful because this is what I can do. I hope that this, I hope that you can get through this, Leo, because it's a rough one. This definitely screams shadow work to me, so get in that shadow. It is shadow work season. Perfect time of year for it. Anyway, Leo, take it easy.